Domenico in the Room podcast with, and for the first time, rookie Randall, Tyler Rookie Randall, who will be making his flyweight pro debut at Triton Fights, New York versus Florida, March 27th in Plant City, Florida. Rookie, man, first time on the show. Welcome to the show, man. Pleasure to have you on, bro.
Man, thanks for having me. I've been wanting to get on for a while, but I wanted to wait until I confirm my pro debut, to get message you and try to reach out. Happy to be on it.
Excellent, man. Well, the posters just came out maybe a week ago. You sent me one on Messenger and said, here it is, man. We're making our pro debut. Florida, bro, that's where it's all happening, and that's basically where you're stationed and where you're training on, man. Let's talk about this opportunity and how you feel about, making that next step in your career.
Man, I can't even put into words how excited I am. I thought about going pro a few years ago. I waited for a few different things, that some life scenarios come up, which kind of halted me. And then COVID came up, so it was even longer break. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I kept training, kept lifting, but when I came back down to Florida, and I heard oh, there's different fights going on. There's fights going down in Florida. Stay ready. I just knew it. And then when I got this opportunity, at first, I wasn't even on this card. They didn't even think about putting me on this card or anything. We couldn't find anybody. And then we found a few other fight leagues. We found a few other guys. They kept backing out.
Yeah.
So it was okay, they'd say things like, oh, we want a striker, or we want this kind of fighter. It's trying to pick who they're fighting. So I was like, darn. And finally, this kid came through. I don't even remember his name that I'm fighting, but.
Well, usually in a pro debut, it really doesn't matter who that opponent is. It's not going to be, a shock or, someone that they're going to throw in your pro debut. I mean, you're getting work there, man. You're getting experience and all that. And kudos for the guy that, is taking the fight. I researched them a little bit. The guy's got a ton of amateur fights. He's got some experience behind him, man. Do you know if is he from New York? Because it is New York versus Florida. Are they bringing all people in from from the New York areas around there,
yeah,
and making their way?
To my knowledge, it was from everybody from New York. But when I researched him a little bit, that when I pulled up his account, it said New Jersey. So I was like, oh, this isn't a New York kid, but maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, he might bounce back and forth. He might go from, have a couple of gyms. He cross trains, goes back and forth. But, I think we have a card coming here, New England versus Florida or something. So.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I'm going to get on that.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let's get through this one first. Hold on. I know it's been a year since you've been in that cage, man. But let's get by this first one. Talking about Triton Fights, they are out of New York. I mean,
yeah.
And they had to go down to Florida basically to get a card going. They haven't had a card in some time, over a year. I believe it's almost just about a year since they're getting a card going, and it's a year since you had your last fight. You had your last fight when maybe the day they started shutting everything down, right?
March 14th was my last fight, and March 15th was the first day of the whole lock everything down, all that jazz.
Dude, man. Well, we're gonna bounce around here, man. We're gonna have fun with this. But your last fight, you unified a title in Vermont. 2 promotions in Vermont. You had one of the belts for one of the promotions. You can talk about that. And you were going against another promotion there, and you won that title. And I mean, you beat up this kid. Head kicks, body kicks, leg kicks, inside kicks, great jabs, great left hook. I mean, just a well-rounded game there. You ended up taking him out early in the second round with a beautiful face head kick. Finished him. You get the belt. You get your hand raised. Man, how did you feel at that moment, bro?
Blessed, man. Every time I get a chance to step in the cage and just feel what I really love, I feel really blessed. It almost brings tears to my eyes. I'm so excited all the time. I just love it. At that moment, honestly, after I kicked him and he dropped down, I was still a little ooh, I don't know, I kind of want to keep hitting him. But then after that, I was like, oh man, I'm excited. I just won this belt. Time to go pro. Time to make these next steps. I was almost it felt like a euphoria, very euphoric. Every time I fight, I feel every time, especially too, when I get a good finish or I dominate that person, like more uplifting. It's uplifting.
Well,
You can feel more. I want more every time. I want to fight right after. I want more.
Well, I mean, you're getting better every fight, and that last fight, dude. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. You showed, a well-rounded game. You finished them with a choke. Before we get to this fight and making your way, to that next step, brother, how did we get there? How did you get your start in martial arts? What drove you to want to get in that cage?
You know what? So when I used to like WWE a lot. I used to like animes and like watching fights. I think fighting was cool, you know what I mean? But I used to watch WWE a lot. One time my dad came home and he turned it off and he was like, "That shit's fake, man. Watch this." And he put on cage fighting. And the interview starts with this one dude and he's like, I used to fight in alleys, just take people's wallets to get money that way, but I found out I could fight in the cage for money. And then the other guy's like, "I've been training for a few years now. Like, I'm really excited to compete." The guy I was training with there, he smashed this dude, cut him over the elbows. It was an all-white cage, dude. I remember, like, as a kid, being like, "Whoa!" It was just covered in blood. So I was like, "That's crazy. Like, how do I do that world? How do I get into that lifestyle?" And not even like 2 years later than that, I had a family member who was training at MMA gym who invited me in. And then when he invited me in, it was like, "What is this?" I remember the first time I threw a leg kick, I was like, dude, the first time I threw a triangle choke on someone, first day they showed me a triangle choke, a Kimura, and an armbar. They had me drill it super long for weeks, both sides, guard retention, certain things like that. I was obsessed. I was obsessed with it nonstop. And I was like, dude, I'm still obsessed with it. It started like that day, man. I couldn't stop. People wanted to hang out with me because all I would do was talk about it. Like,
Well,
I just love it.
And when you were learning it, I mean, it was kind of new. You know what I mean? And a lot of these friends that you have, they don't know what was going on, man. And all of a sudden you start, talking about these moves, or maybe even showing them a little bit. They're like, "What the hell is going on here, brother?"
So this one kid, he was a wrestler before I ever knew what wrestling was, but he wrestled growing up and stuff. And he used to like, wrestle all the time. He'd throw me and smash me and shit. And I started learning jiu-jitsu. Started leg locking him, throwing him in triangle chokes, taking his back nonstop.
Easily too, brother. Easily. And that's what's special about it. And, that's part of what made you, when you walked in there and started learning this stuff, that it put you on another level, and it just humbles you, and exactly what you're capable of, and especially if you keep going. And looking at your career and you making your pro debut, that's something you were really passionate about. Dude, you've been going back and forth from Florida. How did you end up in Vermont, fighting for titles in Vermont? You're training in Florida, you're fighting in Florida, you're back and forth. How did this journey go back and forth? How'd that all start?
So I ended up, let's see. So also, when I was a kid, I was 12 years old, I was training in a gym in Bennington, Vermont, called Northeast Assassins. It was out of a Taekwondo school now. Taekwondo class would end, the MMA classes would start, and it was all people training for pro fights. There was no like really amateurs in there. It was all people competing at that level. A few Team Link guys from like back in the day, but it was a strong squad. We had a few guys who were training for tough. John Manley specifically, I remember seeing him all the time. Chris Manley as a child, being like meeting these pros and being around them, getting that experience, learning this, and it was a different level every day that I got to see. I got to see people because they were trying to make it, they were trying to get it. Because at that time, like the dream was becoming more and more real for these fighters. I could see it, being on the Tough show, and these guys were that close. They had it right in their fingertips, so like it gave everyone else that much more inspiration. It made it that much more seeable for everyone that you can do it. You can be that next level. Everyone's just human. Everyone's just a person. So I got really lucky to be around that in my early years. I had a close friend pass away with me, a close training partner, Tyler Marco, rest in peace. But when he passed away, it made it hard for me to go to that gym for a period of time. So I began wrestling. I wrestled for a while. I wrestled into the collegiate level, and I really knew it wasn't for me. I never wanted to wrestle in college. I never wanted to go to college. I was just going to wrestle, really. So I ended up leaving and getting back into fighting. I moved to Albany, New York, started training with a school over there, pretty much almost full time. I took a fight in an area of Saratoga, New York, maybe 2 of them. Then I began training at a gym again in Bennington, Vermont, just moving around place to place, just not really knowing. Took a few more fights up there, and then all of a sudden when I was trying to get fights, people were like ducking me or not messaging me back, and it was getting like kind of frustrating, like annoying. So I was like, I'll go to a place where no one knows who I am, or no, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I ventured down to Florida for a few months, and I was just going gym to gym to gym, and just I guess basically wandering until I found one that I was gonna really like call a home. I was sleeping in the car for a little bit. Like, then I had a family member down here that ended up letting me stay with him for a little while. I stayed with a few team members and stuff later on, but I was going gym to gym. I ended up meeting certain team members. I'm meeting Nico at a certain gym. Ever since then, like, it just clicked. The style clicked. What we were doing clicked. The different mindsets, like.
Now, when you went to Florida and you started training with the gym, is this the same gym that you're training with now? Or were you bouncing around when you first got settled?
So I was bouncing around, gym to gym, but it's funny to say. So Nico was at a different gym. Like, so he was at American Top Team.
Now you're speaking about Nico. Explain who Nico is, and
my bad. So Nico Price is he's a fighter in the UFC. He's kind of a mentor for me. He's a welterweight. But he's helped me throughout the years, like with different schools, and like he's always been like a great training partner and guiding me for different methods and different things. Or also always good to have someone like that who's at that level. You can ask certain questions. You know, like certain times in fights, certain things happen, and you're like, you can only ask someone who's been there. So it's awesome. It's a blessing. He's helping me with everything, giving me a place to stay, putting me up. But before I met him, he was an American Top Team Cape Coral, and I was going from gym to gym. We ended up meeting an American Top Team Cape Coral. That gym ended up having like a closing or a falling out or something. Like, I'm not really sure. But from there on out, one of his coaches messaged me. He was like, "Hey man, I like your style. Come work with us." So we trained outside for a while. Me, him, and a few other pro fighters, a few other high-level enemies who just wanted to get better. We did that for a while. I came back. I took a few more fights. And when I came up to Vermont, I just decided I was going to watch a show. The kid ended up talking crap. King Mo was there. A few things happened. I ended up getting a fight. At that time, King Mo offered me a good deal, sort of Rex, for where I could stay and where I could train.
Rex from Donnybrook, correct?
Donnybrook, yeah.
Yes.
Offered me an interesting deal where I could stay and train. Both of them did. I took Rex's because it was the Northeast at the time. We ended up having a falling out after I got the title. Just different disagreements on where I should be fighting and where I should be training. Sadly to say. So I came back here and I decided to get what I can, push till I can get a pro fights and set them up and line them up, and really here now.
And here we are. I mean, things happen for a reason, Tyler. You know what I mean? It's like falling out. Things happen for a reason, and look what's happened now. You're getting your pro debut. You're in Florida where all the action is. You're with Rico Price, who, like you said, is a guide, is a path, is a mentor that can help you and give you that, that advice and open your eyes to things that you wouldn't know if you didn't have someone of that caliber alongside you, man. How's the training been going? I mean, he must be pushing the hell out of you. I mean, it's your pro debut. We're going 5 minutes here. So is it any different preparing for your pro debut than it was, for a title fight or any of your previous fights?
Oh, yeah, man. I had a really bad habit, an amateur, of not taking my opponents serious or not taking the fight super serious. So I have a loss in my record to this kid, and it really is because I didn't take the fight serious, man. I had him, and I had his back. I had a rear naked choke, and I was like, you know what, man? Probably head kick this kid. And I'm getting hurt the next round, getting mad, still doing dumb shit, not recovering properly from it. I learned a lot. I learned that we're not paid by the minute, that's for sure.
Yeah. Kudos to you, picking up, all this support to get you to where you are now, man. So we're heading to our pro debut, brother. It's finally here. Your last fight was a year ago. Big things you thought, and everyone expected, you know what I mean? We thought maybe 2 weeks, a month is going to be the you know, the hiatus here, and all of a sudden we're here a year later, brother, and you're getting back in there, man. What's going in your heart? What's the stomach feel like? What's the energy, the fire going through your veins right now, bro?
Oh man, it's funny that you say that. Like, so every day I think about it. Every day I'm training, on the way to training, leaving training. It's always sitting, that feeling that you're talking about. It's like that, like an edge, an adrenaline rush. But it's like my mind tells me like, what way am I gonna get the finish in this fight? How is this finish gonna happen? I know I'm getting a finish. When, where, what is it gonna be? I'm just excited to do it. I'm excited to put on a show. I'm excited to get the crowd. I'm excited to feel my hands like pow, pow, as hard as I can again. You know what I mean? Have an opportunity to like mount, cut elbows if I need to. Like,
Exactly.
I'm excited.
And using them tools that you didn't get to use in the past, like you talked about, them knees, them elbows, being able to, you know, really inflict your will when you have that top position, or, you know, anyway, you know, Randall, even, you know, watching your fights, even when you have been, you know, on your back, you don't mind it. You are nonstop. You're throwing strikes from your back. You're always throwing up, you know, submission attempts. You actually, do you like being on your back? Is that where you you know, I mean, it looks like you have fun there.
I've gotten so like lucky and blessed that anywhere the fight goes, anywhere it goes, I love it. I generally enjoy it because there's no place really, there's nothing to do. And if I'm gonna be on my back, I'm super active because there's so many opportunities for me to submit you, nonstop attack you, keep hitting you, especially, or if I'm on top of you. But regardless, there's transitions to strike and attack and elbow, put someone to sleep every second.
Who's going? Like, you have a ton of support coming to watch you in this cage, you know, on the 27th?
So honestly, man, like, we're going to try it. I think we'll probably have a decent amount of people there, you know, I mean, a good amount, probably like 50, 60, 70 people there to support me, probably, you know what I mean? Not a bad chunk. But I'm really expecting a lot of people to just be watching on their pay-per-view. There's a pay-per-view link they can get, man. I'm really hoping more people just watch that, check it out, and just, even if they watch from their couch, even if they have people come over at their house and want to watch the group, man, because I'm going to put on a show. Like, as simple as that's going to be.
Well, Triton's got a lot of fans, man. So they're missing their they're missing their fans are missing them, and them going to Florida. Now you got them New York fans. A lot of them are going to take that trip because, come on, let's face it, it's Florida and it's beautiful there. But like you said, people are going to have to tune in from home, and it's a great card. I think there's 25 fights on this card, dude. I mean, you know, how are you going to stay awake? I mean, you're going to be on running laps waiting for your fight to come up, man? Or are you going to be, I mean, it's a long time. Are you going to be enjoying maybe some of the fights as you're preparing in the back?
I got a few buddies that are fighting the amateur fights.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna watch a couple of those probably. Maybe. And then I don't know. It depends on the weight on the card I'm fighting. Cause if it's it might be a late night. It might be a late night, man.
Yeah. Well, I think the card is starting like 3 p.m. or something like that. It's starting early, so it's kind of you might have two kinds of crowds here coming and going. That place is going to be rocking, dude, man. What do we expect to see from rookie Randall in there, his first time as his flyweight pro debut?
Man, I don't know. I'm going to be sharp, accurate, like, definitely relentless, that's for sure. But I'm gonna outclass him in every area when it comes down to it. I'm gonna look crisp, mean. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna probably laughing, talking a little bit, pointing. But that just comes with it.
Well, that's you, brother. I mean, that's part of you. That's your game. You are, you know, excited in there. You're a killer in there. And, man, you got to show it off in there, man, because you want bigger and better things after this fight. And, dude, you got a huge following. I mean, you're getting it done in there. You got great support system behind you. And, you know, the sky's the limit right now for you, especially being in Florida. I mean, the work is endless. I mean, you could stay down there and fight for a few promotions around there until you're ready.
I've been talking to a few.
Yeah, so Yeah, like we were mentioning in the beginning, with that we had to get, so there's a lot of people interested in rookie Randall here, man. So who's going to be in your corner? Who's going to be shouting out, what's going on in there?
So normally I have my nutritionist Frank actually in my corner. I'm up north, but he's got some stuff going on, so he'll be up north. So I'm using I think his last name's Moran, Patrick Moran, which is Nico's jiu-jitsu coach. Michael Nolan, which is our striking coach over at Syndicate Boxing, and then Nico.
Damn, man. It sounds like a great group of guys that you would want to go out and hang out with. Not only, for that, but in your corner, forget it for your pro debut, brother. So last thing before I let you go, anything special you want to say, anything you want to shout out, then I'll let you give your sponsors and then social media.
Let's see. Just happy. I'm blessed, Happy to be down in the 239 doing this. 802, I love you. 518, I love you. Hoosick Falls. Came from there. I'm going to shout out to my sponsors, people we work with. Nerd Focus, at Nerd Focus Official. And then Roman Roofing. It's a company, 239, if you ever get your roof fixed in Florida. It's a great group of people, great company.
Excellent, my man. That drink you just showed me there, is that an energy drink or what is that? Is that I gotta look? Show me it again. I'm gonna look it up.
I'll see if we get.
Yeah.
So it's been around for a long time, and they just rebranded it.
Yeah, Nerd Focus. That's a great name. I like that.
Yeah, it's sweet, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, want to say hi, bro?
Who's that? Is that Nico?
Yeah, it's Nico.
Excellent. Bring him in for a minute, man. I just want to ask him. I just want to ask him a question.
Here.
I want to ask him a question.
Let's see this. Show me your drink, bro.
Hey, how are you, my man?
Stepping to the nerd.
There we are. Hey, buddy, man. Kudos to you for bringing up the next generation of talent here, bro. What are you feeling about your fighter there? Making his way on the 27th. What are we expecting from this kid for his pro debut?
Like you said, the future. Gonna show some cool stuff, man. We're in here grinding. Every morning we grind, afternoon, and we kill shit. So we're out here getting it.
Excellent, my man. Well, we saw your little boy before we started the interview, and man,
Yeah.
how many kids you got in the corral ready to go beat people up in the future?
I got 5 kids.
All right, my man. Awesome, bro.
Yeah, I got a squad.
So
we had like sparring night last night at my gym.
So awesome.
The kids beat each other up.
So Rookie's got a ton of sparring partners at his disposal.
Oh yeah. In about 3 more years, my kids will be his size. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Well, my man, what's the future of this kid? I mean, in 2021, stuff's just starting to open up. You guys are in Florida. How busy you want to get this kid this year?
As busy as he wants, man. As long as we keep him healthy, keep him in there, training hard, and keep everything sharp, and just consistent growth, man. That's what we always look for. When I train with someone or someone trains with me, I just continuously try to improve. Like one training session, oh man, I was doing this bad. All right, so I go through all my head. I remember all the moves I got to do to beat that, and then I beat it the next time. Just every day we try to get 1% at least, minimal 1% better. And then our faith, man, our faith in God is strong. So if you're fighting us, you're fighting the warrior of God, and we're in here to do some things. God had savages too. That's what people always forget.
Excellent, my man. Well, I want to get an interview with you after his fight. We could talk about it.
Yeah.
We can recap it, and then we could talk a little bit about you and getting these kids ready and what's going on with you in Florida and what you've been doing, man. So pleasure talking to you, brother, and pleasure watching the future, you getting ready, go to work in a couple of weeks, man.
Oh yeah, man. It is. It's just wait. Don't blink.
All right, man. You have a good night, man.
You too, brother.
All right.
Peace.